Alright, we're back with the stub shaft on the Sidewinder. In this video we're going to be putting it back together. So first thing I want to do is a little Scotch-Brite where the bearing rides. We'll get this all cleaned up nice and smooth so she goes right together for me. And then I'll go in the house. I got the parts, I got a new crank seal and got a brand new bearing. And we're going to be pressing it all together. Now we're going to take and Scotch-Brite up the retainer here. Just clean it up a little bit. So in theory this should all press together really nice for me, I hope. I do have my buddy coming over. He's gonna flash the sled for me. I do have a flasher. I have a Mac computer, so I don't think you can use it on there. But I bought some injectors off of him and some other things. I'll give a shout out to him, hopefully he doesn't mind. His name's Eric Henry. I've been going through him for years now. He's a Hurricane dealer, really awesome guy, super knowledgeable. Just a really good guy to deal with all around. He's helped me out quite a bit. So I always try to spend a little money with them when I can. So let me finish getting this all cleaned up, and then I'm going to spray it all down with brake clean or parts clean. So make sure to get all this emery cloth debris out of here. Alright, here we have all my new parts, new bearing. Now I was going to pick this seal out and add a little extra grease in here. I read online and stuff, and I know in my other videos I have, you're really not supposed to do it, but especially on this, I worry about if the seal comes out or put too much in there, start getting grease around that clutch and stuff. That's not really a good situation. So with that being said, here's the Loctite I'm going to be using right here, 640 to lock that bearing in. So let's get to it. We're going to use the press, and I'll show you how to press it all in. Alright, the first thing we're going to do here, we're going to open up this Loctite 640. We're going to put a tiny bit on the outside race of this bearing, and we're going to drive it back in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my finger to spread it around. I'm not packing any more grease in this bearing, like I said. Put too much in there, too much heat, blow the seal. It'll be all over my new clutch. Alright, I'm going to use the old bearing to press it in. So I'll use this bearing. I got to find a plate of steel. Alright, I'm using the 2 steel plates from my press. I'm going to get it centered. Using that bearing was not a good idea. It was pushing on an angle. And we're going to drive her home. Push her down in there. There she goes. And they're like a dream. Release up. Let's see what we got. And we are going to have to use that bearing to press it the rest of the way down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stack the bearing. I'll put my plate over the top. I thought I had a bearing driver big enough. I don't. So this is the way we're going to have to do it. I know some people are going to criticize it, but there's nothing I can do. There, I can feel it going down. Feel it bottom out. Let's pull it up and see what we got. And there she is, guys. You can see the bearings all the way seated, all the way around in there. That worked out perfect. No heat, no nothing. Let's press it in. Green Loctite. I'm going to wipe this off and let's get the stub shaft in. Alright, I greased up my crank seal. I always put a little grease on these no matter what I'm working on. And we'll stick her down in there. I got to look at the pictures to make sure I got it in the right direction. It's going to drop in like this. She'll seat up against there. And now you take your bearing on your stub shaft, I'll lay in like this. And now we're going to press the stub shaft down in there till the bearing stops. Alright, take a little bit of your 640 Loctite. We're going to put a little bit around this stub shaft where the bearing rides. Before we press it in, just rub it on there. I got the bearing laying down here in my press. Get her straight. Got to make sure we don't screw up this crank seal, that's for sure. I'm going to take a flat piece of steel, lay it across here. I'm going to press it in. That's the plan anyway. Let's see if my press will go down far enough. Should. It's just a cheap Harbor Freight press, guys. See what we can do here. We'll get everything centered up and lined up. Take our time. Might have to raise the table up. I think I'm gonna have to raise the table. We'll see. Let's get her started. There she goes in there. She's going right home, right in there like she should. You'll feel her bottom out. That's it. That's the bottom. Now you got to press together. Simple as that. See how it looks. There we have it, guys. It's all pressed together. Really easy. No problems. I can see the bearings seated in there. So what I might do is just put maybe a tiny bit of grease on these splines before I put it in. I don't want to put anti-seize or anything. I don't want it going down in the crankcase. So let's get it back together. Alright, on this stub shaft you're going to notice it's a little different groove right here. And on here there's kind of a flat spot. You have to make sure that lines up, or else this will not slide in. See how it just slid right in? But if I turn it, it won't. Make sure you line that up. There you go. You have to turn her, get her in the right position, and send her home. What I did to get the retainer that holds your stub shaft lined up with the bolt holes is I took a little tap, like a little flat punch, and just kind of hit it on the outside a little bit with just a rubber mallet on that punch. Worked it to where it needs to be. In the manual it calls for 8.7 foot-pounds for these bolts. It does not call for Loctite. However, I am going to use a little bit of low strength purple Loctite. The reason I'm going to do that is if I have to take this back off, I don't think it's really a great idea to use like a blue Loctite or something that I might have a struggle with. I don't want to be heating up this case where it seals. I don't know, me personally, I don't think it's a good idea. But this low strength stuff I use on my riv nuts and stuff on this sled, and it backs right out. So like I said, the manual doesn't call for it, but we'll just do a little drop, a little peace of mind for me. So I'll get these in. I'm going to use my 1/4 inch torque wrench, so it converts over to like 104 inch-pounds. So we'll get this torque down. One thing I did want to mention in this video, unfortunately I'm not going to get my tap clutch on. The tool hasn't come yet, the holder. So I'll make another video of just putting it on, show you guys how to torque it down and everything. So that's going to wrap up the stub shaft video. I do want to say thanks for watching. Stay tuned, I got more to come, and hit that subscribe button.